The land flowing with milk and honey, the land called the Promised Land. Canada. Everybody wants to go to Canada, but only a few people know how to go about it. I get several questions asking, Waka Waka Doctor, do your videos actually help people? Okay. My videos have helped loads and loads of people, and here's one of them. This video is for you. Hello, folks. This is your one and only Waka Waka Doctor. Always bring you the best gist when it comes to travel and migration. You know how we do it on this channel. All we do is share information that has to do with living, moving, working, and staying abroad. If this is the first time of you coming across my channel, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining. You're not going to regret it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this video to as many people who would require it. Two quick information that I like to share is to say, number one, I am not on WhatsApp and I'm not on Telegram. So if you do find anybody in the comment section or anybody anywhere saying send a message on Telegram or WhatsApp, it is not me. Number two is that a while ago I wrote a book titled Move Abroad by Force. The idea behind this book is to be able to help you move abroad on your own without the use of any agent. Okay, if you want to acquire this book, it's very affordable. All you need to do is click on the description box of this video and you would find the link to buy the book. If you're also looking for ways to reach out to me, just check the description box of this video and you'll be able to reach out to me immediately. Well, people have been moving abroad for decades and decades. People have been moving abroad since the time of man, since when man, has existed. People have been moving from point A to point B. This time, I'd like to share with you a video. I'd like to share with you this video to educate you as to how you can move to the land flowing with milk and honey. The land flowing with milk and honey for a lot, and this country is Canada. I've got a guest, just as always, who would come and share how she did it all by herself. Okay, and you will not believe the story. How are you doing? How are you doing? Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Waka Waka Doctor. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. Do you want to share with my community what's your name and tell us where you are at the moment?
Definitely. My name is Temitope Adebayo, and I'm currently in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Now, guys, I'm going to show you a quick clip how I actually got to meet Temitope. Now, I'm going to show you this short clip of a DM I got sometime in December, thereabout, or January, and it came from Temitope. It was actually a comment on one of my posts that led me to that DM, and I was very pleased to have read that. So, talk to us. How did you get to Canada? How did you get to Canada? How did you do it? How? How?
Okay. So how did I do it? I first determined that okay, I had to come. I had to leave my country, right? And when I did that, I started to research and watch a lot of videos, of which I stumbled into a lot of your videos. I used to attend your spaces on Twitter. I sent you several emails, at the time, to ask a lot of questions. And, with the answers that you gave, it kind of gave clarity to me. And I started the process of applying as a permanent resident, to Canada. I was first of all considering schooling, but after a while I realized that schooling wasn't for me because of funds and all of that. So I opted for a better one, which is the permanent residency. And here I am, a permanent
Amazing,
resident in Canada.
amazing. I think that's something that people often because a lot of people want to move to Canada, but when they look at the money aspect, it's very expensive,
Mhm.
and they forget that Canada has more than 100 ways to move, and there are
Yeah.
other ways that will not even cost you as much if you move as a student.
Yes.
And it's good
Yes.
to hear about this. Let's talk about one important ingredient that people need to have. If you don't have this, don't even bother starting. We're talking about documentation. what documents should people have and just keep on ground and say, okay, these are the documents I need. Let me have those documents if I want to proceed to Canada as a permanent resident.
First, your passports. If you don't have your international passports, you've not started. The second would be your evaluated degree, based on the pathway I used, which is the skilled, you know, worker pathway. You need to have your evaluated degree with WES. You need to write your IELTS. That's very important. You need to write your IELTS, the English exam, and then your police
Sorry, let me
certificates.
pull you back. Let me pull you back. The IELTS, is it general or academic? What score do they need to have?
They need to do the general one, the one for immigration. They need to have at least, you need to have at least 6.5 of 9 currently, at least 6 or 6.5 of 9. I don't remember, but 6 or 6.5 out of 9. Um, then after that, it's just that will be later, much later, just your police certificate and medical reports. But the major things you need, Wes, your international passport and your IELTS to start to
For
kickstart the
those who don't
process.
understand what WES means, WES is the World Educational Services, and I'm sure she's going to explain later on how to get that done. And that brings me to my next question. People want to know what's the step-by-step process. Talk to us. You are this lady in your home country. You decided to move to Canada. You looked through several videos. You saw some of my videos. You asked some of the questions from when you decided it was time to move to Canada up until the end. Can you talk us through the step by step process so that people who also want to do it on their own do not need to be running about looking for people to help them? They just watch this video and boom, they can be on their way as well.
Okay, definitely. So like I said, you have to evaluate your degree, whatever degree you have. I had two. So, I went to my schools, got them, ensured that they were sent to West, my transcripts. My husband did the same because we're using our 2 degrees so that we would be stronger in the pool. So you have to have your WES. Then you prepare for your IELTS. You start to study for IELTS basically and decide when you want to write the IELTS. After you've done that, the next step would be to get into the pool. However, before you get into the pool, you have to have um, a mental would I say depiction of what you would qualify for? Because like Waka Waka Doctor said, there are over 100 ways to get into Canada, even as a permanent resident. So you have to know the kind of skills they've been inviting. You have to know if a particular province would be interested in you based on your skill. So once you get into the express entry pool, based on your IELTS, your WES, your work experience, and all of that, you start to explore, different options. What we did was we were in the pool. We had done everything.
How did you get into the pool? How did you apply to get into the pool?
Really, we just went online and filled in our details. And like you fill in your details for your permanent residency application. Once you have your WES and you have your IELTS, that's all. And you have your
Is there so
international.
is there a government website you can do that?
Definitely. It's canada.ca. Once you go on Google and you type canada.ca, it pops up. That's the first thing that comes out. And then you click on it and you go on, you will see something like immigrate to Canada. Once you click on that, you choose the pathway, basically federal express entry. Once you click on that, you fill in your details and apply, basically. So after you do that, which is what we did, um, we realized that our score at the time was not sufficient to be invited. It was close, but it wasn't sufficient. Now, my husband was the primary applicant. I was the dependent, but I was doing all the research and bringing information. And so, after a while, not really a long time, after a while, we found out that Alberta was inviting graphic designers to come into their province. Now, my husband is an architect. Yeah, what we evaluated was a master's degree in architecture, but he has experience as an architect and as a graphic designer. So what did we do? We obviously we got into the pool, and Alberta themselves, that's the Alberta government, sent an invitation to us to apply to their province because my husband is a graphic designer, according to what he claimed on the express entry
On
when he
his
was filling in his
experience.
details. Yes, experience, graphic designer. So they sent an invitation and said, oh, please, would you be interested in applying to our province? You know, and this was after 5 days after getting into the pool. Mind you, we've done research and research. Like we've done a lot of research before that. So we got into the pool May 6th. We got invited May 11th of 2023.
Wow.
Just, yes, just 5 days. Alberta invited us. So Alberta asked for certain documents to prove work experience. They asked for our West IELTS, the same thing you filled in when you were applying for permanent resident. That's all they asked for. And then they asked us to pay 500 Canadian dollars for them to process our application. They did that. In 2 months, we got our provincial nomination. What that means is that we now have 600 points added to our original points that we had because of express entry. So when you get into the pool, usually they'll give you points based on whatever it is you put in. We
That's what
were
they
on
call the CRS score.
the CRS score, yes. We were on like 470 something, 480 something. So when Alberta gave us the nomination, we now had 600 extra points. We're now at
That's
1,000.
1,000 and
1,000 plus. And guess what? What they were inviting at the time was 486, 490. So we're really close, but 486, 490. And in 2 months after we got it on the 23rd of July. And on the 1st of August, the Canadian government now told us that we can now apply apply as permanent resident. So the first step is indicating your interest to apply as permanent resident. The next step was the provincial nomination. The government now accepted our application and said, okay, based on the fact that you have 1,000 points, we can now accept you into, majorly into our country. And so from that point, the government also asked us for our WES, our IELTS, work experience, all of that. Proof of funds. That's when you're going to show your proof of funds. That's when we had to send our account statement to show that, oh, if we get to Canada, we will not sleep under the bridge. So, it was a long process. We submitted everything by August 16th because we got invited August 1st. We submitted everything we needed August 16th. Everything I mentioned, nothing different actually. August 16th with proof of funds. And on the 2nd of January, we waited for a long time. On the 2nd of January, we got our invitation to now submit our passports, to be our passport to be stamped and our visa. We submitted that, booked our flights for 24th of January. By 11th of January, our passports were back, our visa stamped, and yeah, we're ready to fly to Canada. And on the 24th, we took our flights and got here on the 25th of January. So,
wow, wow,
yeah.
wow. Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much for taking our time to explain that. So let me understand. Let me try and put it out there, the pathway. So what you did
Mhm,
was, first of all, you needed to research and decide on your own that you wanted to move to Canada. You
mhm,
started researching and checking for videos. That's how you stumbled upon some of my videos. Then of
mhm,
course you made contact with me and also asked some questions and did your own research on the side. And from
mhm,
there, you went to evaluate your documents, your transcripts, your educational documents
mhm,
with the World Educational Service. You made sure that you wrote IELTS and you were applying as a dependent with your husband.
mhm, mhm,
And what you now did was go on Google, check the Canadian government website, www.canada.ca,
mhm,
and you clicked on Immigrate to Canada, and then you used the federal skilled workers route.
mhm,
And after that, you filled up the form, you were in the pool, your points were not enough. But based on your experience, your husband's experience as a graphic designer,
mhm,
you were now able to get a sort of nomination of interest from Alberta
mhm.
because they were looking for graphic
Graphic
designers.
designers,
And
yes.
that gave you 1,000 points and increased your points. And then
Mhm,
you got picked by them and then you supplied your documents to the government and all
mhm.
that. And you talked about proof of funds. How much proof of funds did you need?
Okay, because we're a family of two, we needed to prove that we had at least 17,127 Canadian dollars in our accounts, which was, I mean, in Naira, it was probably 12 million thereabouts. Yeah, but
At the time, yeah,
17,127 Canadian
20,
dollars.
17,000, so about 18,000 Canadian dollars.
Canadian
And
dollars, yes.
did you need to do any medicals?
Yes, definitely. This comes when the government has accepted your what's it called, your application, and says you should apply. You have to do medicals. You have to prove that even if you're not if you have some, it's not a problem. They just want to
Mm.
know your health status, really. What is happening with you? They want to know. That's basically it. But yes, we
I'm
did
going
our
to ask you
medicals.
this because I know that a lot of people want to reach out to you and ask questions. So, how can people reach out to you? Can people find you if they've got questions to ask?
Okay, so I started YouTube when I got here. So I have a YouTube page, Temitope Adebayo. If you search Temitope Adebayo, I'm certain I'll be like the third or so person to pop up. I also have an Instagram page, Temilal, Temilal. Yes, so you can reach out either
Okay.
on my YouTube page or on Instagram.
Okay, Temilal. That's on
Yes,
Instagram and
yes,
Temitope Adebayo on YouTube. So if you've got
yes.
questions to ask, you can reach out to her. One final question before you go. Any regrets so far with respect to moving to Canada?
That's such a weird question. No regrets so far. I mean, it's not what will I call it? It's not heaven, but it's a better place. We got jobs less than 1 month into getting here. We've been living well, better lives compared to where we're coming from. So no regrets. I'm totally happy, and I just can't wait for what is to come after this. So
Totally happy. I like to hear that. And that's why I tell people so long as where you're going is better than where you're coming from, please take the plunge and take the move. Thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in and watched this video. It's your one and only Waka Waka Doctor, and I'm signing out.
thank you.